veteran turkey hunter is mistaken for prey.
He was so camouflaged, and the Bobcat thought he was a turkey, and so he's gonna nail him.
I'm Chad Fleischer. Welcome to This Happened to Me, real-life adventures from the pages of Outdoor Life magazine. Hunting for wild turkeys is not easy. In fact, it takes years to perfect. Doug Grann and his friend Ann McCarthy are experienced turkey hunters, but their hunting skills make them vulnerable to a predator who likes turkeys too.
The Olson Ranch near Rapid City, South Dakota, is a favorite hunting ground for Doug Grann. Owner and manager of the ranch is 76-year-old Dwayne Olson. He has spent much of his lifetime maintaining the natural beauty of the ranch's wildlife habitat.
We got coyotes, we got a lot of coyotes, fox, porcupines, as you saw. And they have seen mountain lions and down through the Badland Basin here, and so they know there are some around. Quite a variety of bobcats, especially.
And with every predator comes an abundance of prey, such as white-tailed deer and, of course, turkeys. Doug Grann and his friend Ann McCarthy have hunted turkeys together for nearly 10 years, an operation Ann says Doug is extremely good at.
Doug does things by the book. He's an old seasoned turkey hunter, and so that's how he has achieved a lot of success. And so Doug has always had a knack, and I don't know anyone else who does this as well as he does.
Not only is Doug an expert turkey caller, but he knows that the best way to hunt a turkey is to use a decoy, which fools the animal into coming within close shooting range. He also hunts completely camouflaged to blend in with his surroundings and remains perfectly still because the slightest movement will scare the bird off. And last but not least, he and Ann both know that the best way to make yourself invisible to a turkey is to find your spot early, preferably in a group of trees, and get situated before the turkeys even wake up.
You have to start turkey hunting when it's dark, basically, or at dusk, because you need to go in to your area and set up while they're still on the roost. That would be the preferred method. You're gonna step off 15.
Right.
But for even the most experienced hunter, things can go dreadfully wrong. After 5 days of rain, the sun finally pokes through the clouds, allowing Ann and Doug to begin their long-awaited turkey hunt. Doug and Ann carefully plant a decoy in an open field and retreat to the tree line where Doug begins calling.
I can recall sitting as quietly and as still as I possibly could, knowing that even the slightest motion would scare away a potential bird.
Patiently awaiting the arrival of a large tom, they hear a rustle in the bushes.
We're against the trees. We hear the slightest movement coming from, I believe it was the left, our left shoulder.
A scream bellows from Doug. Ann looks over and sees fur flying as Doug struggles to stop a 30-pound bobcat from ripping him to shreds.
We were pretty close together, and it happened so fast, and the animal was on him that split second. I was afraid for his life.
Doug Grann and Ann McCarthy are hunting turkeys. Well camouflaged, Doug calls skillfully, attracting what they believe to be a large tom behind them. Suddenly, out from the bushes leaps a bobcat, mistaking Doug for an easy lunch. The two are now entangled in a fight for survival.
Doug!
Ann jumps up and lunges towards the animal. Instantly, the bobcat lets go of Doug and bounds away into the brush. The attack is over, but Doug is bleeding from the head and neck. Ann cannot tell the extent of his injuries.
I was afraid for him. I was afraid for us. I saw the blood, but I knew I had to be the person to step up and take care of Doug.
Suspecting shock due to trauma and blood loss, Ann helps Doug make it to the car and speeds to the nearest hospital.
Where do you think it was the whole time? Right behind us. It had to have been right behind us.
She calls ahead to the emergency room to make sure they know the urgency of the situation. When they arrive, they find the story has preceded them. A crowd of disbelievers greets them.
People were flocked to him because perhaps the story was just, who could imagine this man was turkey hunting and been attacked by a bobcat.
A team of doctors and nurses treat Doug's wounds and assess his need for a rabies shot, but they are most concerned with his elevated blood pressure. He's hovering on the edge of shock. Doug's condition is stabilized, and he is released from the hospital. But he won't soon forget what happened to him.
The skies were clear. It was a beautiful morning. The turkeys were gobbling up and down the creek just behind me. So it was a gorgeous day, and we thought, finally, we're going to be able to call some turkeys in. Are you ready?
Okay.
So we set down a decoy, set up by a couple trees and a windrow, and started calling. And we called aggressively with every call we had, and then we sat still. Well, it's probably 40 minutes into that hour that we decided to wait. I heard some movement behind me, and then that's when it all started. So kaboom, I'm bowled over, my face is on fire, my head is hurting. I actually thought I'd been shot. I mean, I didn't know what happened. And then all of a sudden, something was on my neck, it was behind me, my shoulder was being ripped open. I saw like a lightning flash in front of me that was actually the paw, the claws ripping at my face. I remember my head kind of on fire where the two canines had ripped my scalp open. And so it was all going in kind of slow motion, and I remember my shoulder hurting, and a bobcat went running across the field. And what actually happened, this predator had snuck in behind us. It saw the decoy out there, but it knew it was too far, 30 yards was too far for that bobcat to spring and get it. But there was a turkey right behind this tree. So we had all the key elements, scent, sound, and visual.
Doug shot at the bobcat as it scurried away.
And it was just like I could see myself picking up my gun, thinking, what is going on, and trying to protect myself.
And he was relieved that he missed.
My vision was blurred because of blood in my face, and, well, he was doing what he's trained to do. He has to eat to survive, and so I'm happy I missed the guy.
Escaping serious injury, Doug now sports a few facial scars and some inner ear difficulties. He recalls how he survived.
One, I had glasses on, and it saved my eye. Otherwise, I'd be missing an eye. Two, I was with a good friend that took charge and got me out of there, got me professional attention, because if I'd been alone, I'd probably sat down and tried to call in a turkey again. And who knows, if I'd gone into shock all alone out here in the middle of the prairie, well, it could have really been bad.
Ann realizes just how close her friend came to death.
The idea that the claws were that close even to major veins, he could have been dead instantaneously.
Although the bobcat could have taken Doug's life, neither Doug nor Ann harbors any animosity towards the animal.
I can only see it as an enriching experience. I've met a few people that have been attacked by bobcats. I've talked to physicians that have attended people that were mauled by other animals, and I find their commitment, the power of the wild, has impacted them positively to help wildlife.
Just like we try to fool the turkeys with our camouflage, with our calls, and with our decoy, we fooled that bobcat. It was looking for lunch, and it was surprised to have Doug.
Fortunately, this experience did not end tragically. Instead, it gives Doug a tremendous respect for nature and all its creatures.
I think it's a privilege to be able to have done that and to be part of it, and you can only be a steward for wildlife once you've experienced it full frame.
A longtime member of Wildlife Forever, Doug is now using his first-hand experience with a bobcat to help raise awareness about these threatened wild cats. If you're ever attacked by a wild animal, seek medical attention immediately. Not only do you have a chance of acquiring rabies, but your body may experience post-trauma or shock even though you may feel fine.